So a warm welcome back to Mugello. I'm Nick Harris, sitting alongside me Matt Burt, down in pit lane Dylan Gray. Round 6, the MotoGP World Championship.
Front row, Valentino Rossi, Maverick Vinales and Andrea Iannone. Marquez, Lorenzo and Aleix Espargaro form an all-Spanish row 2.
Third row, Danny Pedrosa, Bradley Smith and Danilo Petrucci. Fourth row, Scott Redding, Michele Pirro and Iannone Hernandez.
Row 5, led by Andrea Dovizioso, Paul Espargaro and Hector Barbera. Crutchlow, Miller and Lavati, that's your row 6.
Row 7 coming up. Row 7, Alvaro Bautista, Stefan Bradl and Loris Baz. No Tito Rabat. Fortunately, the former Moto2 world champion broke his collarbone in a crash on Saturday morning. All the talking has now stopped. All the speculation is over, because battle is about to commence here in Valentino Rossi's backyard. We're in Mugello.
23 laps of this majestic Mugello circuit. Mesmerizing racetrack, beautiful scenery, vociferous support for the home hero.
Thoughts all alone now. Nerves probably gone now. They are ready to go. Final lap before the battle commences. 23 laps of this magnificent 5.245 kilometre, 3.25 mile circuit. 15 corners, 9 right and 6 left. First race here, 1976. Instead of president, Barry Sheen beat Phil Reed by 1/1000th of a second. Are we in for a repeat? Dylan, I should think you can hardly contain yourself down there.
It's absolutely amazing atmosphere, really. It's so tough to convey on TV, just being here with the noise. It's so fantastic. And, you know, we've got the right weather for it, we've got the right conditions, and we know we've got all those guys, at least those 2 front rows, should have an absolutely epic scrap, at least at the start of the race. And I'm really looking forward to this one.
I think the whole of Italy, Matt, is looking forward to this one.
Almost 101,000 fans are crammed into the hillsides here in Mugello. I cannot recall, in the 20 years I've been coming to Grand Prix racing, a crowd that's exceeded 100,000 on race day here in Mugello. That's the Rossi factor.
It certainly is. This is Maverick Vinales, former Moto3 race winner here. He's made the big decision. He will join Rossi at Yamaha next season. May have to delay the start here. Look, I was
going to say, don't adjust your
on the mountain.
Don't adjust your sets at home, folks. You're not having problems with your TVs. It's just all the yellow flares that are going off. Trackside yellow balloons going off into the distance. There's the Ducati grandstand at Correntaya. Will they be seeing a first Ducati win in MotoGP for 6 years? Big hopes rest on the shoulders of Andrea Iannone, going from the front row of the grid for the 3rd year in a row here in Mugello.
Jorge Lorenzo leads that World Championship by 5 points from Marc Marquez. 12 points down is Valentino Rossi. Rossi won 7 consecutive races here between 2002 and 2008. Lorenzo, last 7 years, has been first or second. Rossi in pole. Alongside him, Maverick Vinales completing the front row. He's got a big point to prove. It's Andrea Iannone. And what about Marc Marquez and Jorge Lorenzo from the 2nd row of the grid?
Italy holds its breath.
Red flag will be taken away. This is what we have been waiting for all weekend. The Italian Grand Prix at Mugello is underway. Looks like a really good start from Jorge Lorenzo and also from Valentino Rossi.
Yeah, as good a start Lorenzo made. It was a shocker for Andrea Iannone. He's been picked off on the run down to San Donato. What a start by Lorenzo. He's up the inside of Valentino Rossi. Lorenzo from 5th on the grid. He leads the way. Couple of crashes at the back of the field. That's Jack Miller and Loris Baz. We've also got one of the factory Aprilias down. That was Alvaro Bautista. Danilo Petrucci running it wide through Podium. Lorenzo leads though from Rossi, from Aleix Espargaro, who got a good start. Maverick Vinales had a nightmare. Vinales from the front row down in 11th.
They plunged down through Casanova and Savelli. They come up now towards Arrabbiata 1 and Arrabbiata 2. Jorge Lorenzo, what a start from the 2nd row of the grid. We ride with him. It's Rossi in his face. Rossi right behind him as they plunge downhill. Here they are. Arrabbiata 1, up to Arrabbiata to that blind fast right-hander over the rise. Half a lap gone.
Bradley Smith got a great start. He was up in the 4th place at one time. We've had real mixed starts here today. Lorenzo from 5th up into the lead. Maverick Vinales, we talked in the warm-up this morning about how he's got to sort his starts out. Front row to 11th place. Andrea Dovizioso's had a great first lap. He was 13th on the grid. Dovizioso already up into 6th place.
I tell you what, Rossi will have a go at Lorenzo because he knows better than anybody. If Lorenzo gets into the rhythm at the front, he's not going to be beaten. Rossi's going to have to rough him up, and he's going to have to rough him up real quick.
He is indeed. Andrea Iannone front row to 8th place on the opening lap. Some absolute nightmare starts went on from the front row of the grid. It was Lorenzo that got an absolute flyer. Iannone Hernandez was too keen to get off the line. He's jumped the start, the Colombian. Bautista, Miller and Bautista were down in an instant at the first corner with Loris Baz.
1 lap gone. Here comes Valentino Rossi. 215 miles an hour, side by side into San Donato, and Rossi leads. Can he make it take? Oh, Rossi's running wide.
He's gone out to the car park, so has Andrea Dovizioso. So many riders in the slipstream running in way too hot at San Donato. Andrea Dovizioso was one of them. Looked like Andrea Iannone also got caught out there. He did. Iannone's been passed by the 2 Pramac Ducatis. Rossi tried to take the lead into the first corner, ran well wide. Lorenzo back into the lead. Alex Espargo doing a great job to hold off Marc Marquez. Danny Pedrosa now up in the 5th. What about Maverick Vinales? Still down in 11th place. Iannone fell back to 10th.
Could have been worse for Rossi. I thought, as you say, he was disappearing into the car park, but he's actually kept it a pretty good distance as they come down, up now through Arrabbiata 1 and Arrabbiata 2. 1.5 laps gone. Jump start as we see there.
Rossi now glued to the back wheel of Jorge Lorenzo. This is down into Scarperia. They'll bank it left for Pelagio. Here we go through the left-hander. Rossi momentarily seized the lead at the end of that first lap. Wasn't able to pull it on the brakes into the first corner. Round in front of the Ducati grandstand. What a nightmare start it's been for the Bologna factory. Andrea Iannone is back down in 10th place. In fact, he's just been passed by Maverick Vinales. Those two started on the front row. They're 10th and 11th.
This is just where Rossi wants to be. They're going to come into Contentire that brings them onto this long, well over 1,000 metres long, 7/10 of a mile long straight, and Rossi would just tuck in behind and he'll try the manoeuvre again. I promise you he will, because he does not want Lorenzo to get away at the front. They're going to come side by side again. Here comes Rossi up the inside.
Can he make it stick this time around? He's got the inside line. Lorenzo leaves his braking really late. Lorenzo will cut it back to the apex through San Donato. No way through this time around then for Valentino Rossi. The Italian's the fastest man on the track with a 1:48.445. Danny Pedrosa 6th place. Alex Espargo doing a great job of holding off Marc Marquez. Marquez, though, found his way through. Marquez up inside the top 3 then for the first time in this race.
It's Andrea Dovizioso leading the Ducati charge, despite being well down at the grid. But here we go again. Rossi's going to have another go. Rossi is just snapping at the heels all the time. I can't stress enough, Lorenzo wants to lead from start to finish, and Rossi knows if he lets him do that, this race is over. But he's not going to let him do it, and he's got the whole of Italy charging behind him.
Yeah, Rossi just, at the moment, sat right on the coattails of Jorge Lorenzo. That gap coming down now between Rossi and Marc Marquez in that battle for 3rd place. Dovizioso's clawed his way up into 5th. He took Danny Pedrosa the last time around. Bradley Smith has just been passed by Scott Redding. That's a battle for 7th and 8th. It's been a shocker for Vinales and Iannone off that front row. Maverick Vinales just has got to sort out his starts if he's got any hopes at fighting for wins this year. Back with Lorenzo and Rossi through Biondetti 1 and 2. Rossi's going to be closer. He might attack at the final corner here on the brakes.
Vinales coming up behind Bradley Smith, up the inside of Bradley Smith, and Maverick Vinales is through. Now then, let's see who's going to lead the way at the front. Same as it was before. Lorenzo absolutely brilliant on the brakes the last time round. Here comes Rossi again. Again, they're side by side. Rossi holds the advantage. Now, can he make it stick this time round? Oh, you've got to give 100 marks to Jorge Lorenzo, the way he held his nerve and his brakes there.
Demon on the brakes, Lorenzo going down into San Donato. Marc Marquez is edging ever closer to this group. And Andrea Dovizioso, there he is in 5th place, hunting down Aleix Espargaro, just putting the best lap of the race so far. Dovizioso, the first rider into the 147s, 147.997. He was 0.4 of a second quicker than the race leader, Jorge Lorenzo, last time around. So it's concertinaing up nicely for a 5-rider battle here at the front.
Oh, where's Rossi going to try it now? He's tried now twice down at San Donato and it hasn't worked out. He's going to try it somewhere different. He is eyeing up every opportunity here to get past Lorenzo. He can't get past at turn 1 at the moment. He's going to try it. He's going to catch us. Is he going to catch Jorge Lorenzo by surprise?
Yeah, and while this is all going on, Marc Marquez is coming right back into contention. Rossi not close enough to have a look up the inside at Pelagio. Down to the Corantaio corner now. Slight downhill braking for this long sweeping right-hander. And you'll pick it up hard on the gas through Biondetti 1 and 2. Now, can Rossi get close enough on the exit to have a lunge up the inside of Lorenzo in the braking zone for the final corner, the Vicini corner? On board with Rossi.
Is he close enough? I don't think he is this time round. Into the Vicini corner, just dips away here. And then on the power. And without a doubt, he will try once again. Get in the slipstream, pull out. Both times he's come up the inside. Perhaps he'll go the long way round and try the outside this time round. We are about to find out. Here he comes, and he has gone round the outside. Side by side again, and Lorenzo just blocks him. And Marc Marquez just says, thank you very much, you Yamaha boys, because I am closing all the time.
The man who's charging is Andrea Dovizioso. He's picked up Aleix Espargaro now for 4th place. He'll be using all that Ducati horsepower down that start-finish straight to blast past the Suzuki. But Dovizioso then up into 4th place. Let's not forget, he started way down 13th on the grid. Andrea Iannone's just moved up into 9th by Bradley Smith, but it's been a home race to forget so far for the number 29. Andrea Dovizioso, he's the man on the charge. Still no way through for Rossi. Marquez closing as they drop down through Savelli.
I wonder who those fans are supporting in this sandwich here. Do you think it's Lorenzo Marquez that they're cheering on? We ride with Lorenzo. There is Valentino Rossi behind him, and you just got a glimpse of the orange Honda of Marc Marquez. This is turning out just perfectly. It's the race we wanted. It's the race the 100,000 fans here wanted. And then if it's the race the whole of Italy wanted. But we've got one hell of a MotoGP race, and there is still 18.5 laps to go. Rossi's rethinking his strategy now, isn't he? Without a doubt, he's the cleverest MotoGP rider that we've ever seen. And he'll be thinking, right, we've got to do something a little bit different. And he'll be very aware now that Marquez is coming quick. Great ride by Aleix Espargaro on the Suzuki.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. There's Maverick Vinales, who's trying to pick his way through from outside of the top 10. Let's not forget, he started 2nd behind Valentino Rossi. Scott Redding's having a superb ride as well. There he is on that Pramac Ducati, still keeping Vinales at bay. Danny Pedrosa from his 250th Grand Prix appearance just ahead of him. Look at the Ducati power. No way through again for Rossi. Lorenzo's been so strong on the brakes going into the first corner. Rossi runs it out wide again. Marquez got sucked in as well too. That's brought Dovizioso back closer to the back of Marc Marquez. We're about to get a 4-way fight for the lead here in Mugello. Dovizioso again last time around the quickest of this leading quartet. He was in the 147.9s again. 0.3 of a second he was quicker than Rossi.
Well, this is coming into the San Donato corner, and there you go, we're right with Marquez. Rossi went wide, he got sucked in, as Matt said. The worry here that happened is that Lorenzo may be able to eke out something at the front, but Rossi will not let him get away. Well, Andrea Dovizioso's had a nightmare so far this weekend, but he's showing Ducati just why they have kept him instead of Andrea Iannone.
He's been brilliant, nothing short of brilliant, coming from 13th place on the grid, fastest man on the track. It's one thing to get up there, though, for Dovizioso. He's got to then try and fight his way through on Marquez, Rossi and Lorenzo. No mean feat at all, but he's done a superb job. Aleix Espargaro just dropping back into the clutches a little bit of the chasing pack. Danny Pedrosa, Scott Redding and Maverick Vinales, who we're on board with now. It's Scott Redding just ahead of him on track through this Corantaio right-hander.
Yeah, Vinales has not been able to get past Scott Redding, isn't he? And while this is going on, it's a great ride by Scott Redding. Vinales' chances are fading fast. And, I mean, the great news as far as the race goes is that Rossi has not let Lorenzo get away at the front.
Again, it's the same old problem for Maverick Vinales. He qualifies brilliantly, and then he makes a hash at the start, and then he's not so fast on the new tyres. He's made a pass, though, on Scott Redding. Andrea Iannone, look at the power of that factory Ducati. He just blows the paint off the Suzuki and Scott Redding's Ducati. Andrea Iannone then up in a 7th place. Dylan.
Guys, I'm just going to bring it down to pit lane briefly. I'm here with Jack Miller. Jack, very unfortunate going into turn 1 there. First of all, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay, you know. Don't really know what happened. I mean, I just got hit by another bike, you know. We were just going through the corner normally. I mean, didn't get the greatest of starts, but yeah, it's what happens when you're down that far on the grid. But anyway, it's a racing incident. And, you know, we found some things this weekend, so we can take that as a positive. But, you know, really wanted to finish one, not only for myself, but for the team.
Thank you very much for talking to us, Jack.
Yeah, he has fans, I think, this weekend. Jack Miller looked in a lot better, Nick.
And just a very quick note, so Alvaro Bautista, he's also okay. Loris Baz, I went to the team, they're not sure yet. He's gone to the clinic, but I'll keep you guys posted.
Many thanks, Dylan. We ride with Valentino Rossi, number 99 in front. Rossi really thought about it that time at Scarperia.
He keeps trying to show Lorenzo his
trying to
front
upset
wheel,
him,
doesn't
isn't
he?
All the time.
He keeps having a look at Arrabbiata 1. Try to just give Lorenzo a little tickle up the inside through Scarperia. Lorenzo, you've got to say, he's doing a great job of holding firm. If anybody can control these races from the front, it is Jorge Lorenzo.
Biandetti 1 and 2, but Rossi, yeah, I wonder where he's going to try and make the move. I think he feels down at San Donato that Lorenzo is so strong on the brakes. This is a Bacchini. Here he goes again, he's right behind him.
The good thing is, Nick, normally at this stage of the race, Lorenzo's been able to open up a sort of a gap of about a second and a half, and then he can pretty much comfortably control it. He hasn't been able to drop Rossi, and Rossi's riding the slipstream yet again. Will he make it stick this time around? Coming down in the braking zone for the first corner. Lorenzo again is super strong when they brake from 6th gear at almost 220 miles an hour, and he again keeps Rossi at bay.
He's absolutely faultless so far down at turn 1, Jorge Lorenzo.
Well, Brembo showed some data about late breakers into turn 1. Throughout the whole weekend, it's been Rossi. I bet those stats have changed. Rossi again up the inside, no way through.
Lorenzo is not letting him come through. Rossi is desperate to get through, but he'll be happier now, Rossi, because he feels he's got the pace all the time to run with Lorenzo. As you say, I think when he made the mistake at turn 1, Rossi, I thought Lorenzo would then disappear into the distance. He hasn't. He's eyeing him up. He's eyeing him up again. Down at Savelli. We come up to Arrabbiata 1 and 2. I love this corner, don't you? Arrabbiata 2.
He had a look last time around at Scarperia. We're just coming down there now. Don't think he's going to be close enough to have a lunge up the inside. No, he's not perfectly happy this time around. Just to sit and wait. Andrea Dovizioso again of this lead quartet. Quickest rider of the top 4. What's the gap between Lorenzo and Dovizioso? It's only 1.1 seconds. So Dovizioso, he's not out of this by any stretch of the imagination. Rossi closes right up through the Correntaio corner. He's got to try and get close enough to slipstream Lorenzo down at that first corner. Lorenzo's been awesome on the brakes at the end of the start-finish straight, and he gets great drive out of Biondetti 1 and 2 again.
Yeah, here he comes into Bacchini. He's not close enough, but he will pull through the corner. He will come alongside, but Lorenzo's winning the battle of the brakes at the moment. Rossi, he's tried the outside and he's tried the inside. What is he going to try this time round? Just look at those speeds, 340 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, Lorenzo's got in the groove. He's into the 147s for the first time in this race. He's just at a 147.9. He was less than a 1/10 of a second faster than Valentino Rossi last time. There's nothing between them on the track, nothing between them at all in the timesheets. There's Marc Marquez, who just can't quite close that gap of, what, 5/6 of a second to the two factory Yamaha riders. A bit further back down the order, Danny Pedrosa. Oh, Rossi's made a mistake. What's happened to Valentino Rossi? He's got a problem. Rossi's got a problem. He's got a mechanical disaster for Rossi. What a nightmare for the Italian. Rossi is about to retire from this race. What's happened?
Let's have a look. They just run straight on there, but that's a mechanical problem, isn't it? Not a rider problem. Silence at Mugello.
Has he got a problem?
Or was it just a rider mistake?
He was looking down, wasn't he, at his left foot. Yeah, there's smoke coming. You can see the smoke. Yeah, he's got a problem. Valentino Rossi, well. Yeah, there's smoke. Jorge Lorenzo blew an engine this morning in the warm-up session. Lynn Jarvis on the grid said, well, we hope that was the end of our bad luck. Well, what an absolute disaster for Valentino Rossi and for the factory Yamaha team. There are 100,000 fans here.
Oh, golly, it's blown.
What a day for Yamaha.
That engine has completely blown.
Wow.
He'd pull off the track as quick as he can. And Jarvis, we spoke to him earlier, the managing director of Yamaha Racing, looks on.
I can't recall before this morning's blow-up for Jorge Lorenzo the last time I saw a Yamaha suffer mechanicals. They've had 2 in one day, and that's catastrophic for Valentino Rossi.
Mugello has gone silent. Suddenly, the cork's been pulled out, the plug's been pulled out of the bath, hasn't it?
I'm stunned.
Whoa.
I'm just absolutely stunned.
Valentino Rossi.
Scott Redding's in the pits as well. I would not want to be in the Yamaha garage when Valentino Rossi gets back, because that will be devastating for the Italian. He was right in contention for his first win here in Mugello since 2008. Problems again for Scott Redding. How many more technical problems can Scott Redding have in 2016? It was a mechanical that forced him to retire in Argentina. He had to retire last time out also in Le Mans, but there is Valentino Rossi.
Wow. Now, what can Marc Marquez do? But this has got Jorge Lorenzo written all over it, this race, hasn't it?
There is going to be one heck of a post-mortem tonight in Yamaha, Nick. 2 absolute nightmare technical issues. One for Jorge Lorenzo. You can take one in the warm-up, of course. That's the time for it to happen. But in the race, when you're fighting for the win, fighting for the World Championship, how damaging could that be in the bigger picture of the World Championship for Valentino Rossi? Because he's only 12 points behind Lorenzo. He could be almost 40 points behind his teammate now.
Well, what can Marc Marquez do? He's certainly keeping the gap pretty constant between himself and Jorge Lorenzo. Dovizioso hanging in there. Oh, it's just taking the steam out of it a bit, isn't it?
Really, aren't you?
Yeah. Very much so. Dylan.
Well, guys, whilst we're waiting for Rossi to get back, just check with Scott Redding. So, problem with the water pressure on the bike. So, yeah, also a man with an awful lot of bad luck at the moment.
Yeah, they're telling Jorge Lorenzo and Marc Marquez that Rossi is out of the race. There is 13 laps to go.
That's a real shame, because we've been denied potentially an absolutely cracking final 13 laps of this MotoGP race. There's Iannone, who's clawed his way back up quite magnificently, actually, into 4th place. He's really charging through the field like a knife through butter at the moment, is Iannone. 4th place for him. He's 5 seconds behind the race winner, Jorge Lorenzo. Well,
wow. Behind him is Danny Pedrosa. Then we have Vinales. He's got past Alicia Spargo. Bradley Smith is 8th. 9th is Petrucci. 10th, Pirro. Cal Crutchlow running 11th. 12th, Hector Barber got in front of Stefan Bradl. Eugene Lavity in 14th place. Iannone Andis in 15th. And it's Paul Espargo. All sorts of problems for him. Down in 16th place.
there was going to be an inquest at Yamaha long into the night tonight. There's a few fans opposite the grandstand here. They're already streaming towards the exit, unfortunately. They've seen Rossi have to retire out of this 23-lap race while he was fighting for the win with Jorge Lorenzo. We thought he just missed his braking marker, didn't we? And then clearly he was looking down at his left foot, and then we've seen yellow smoke billowing all around this Mugello circuit. Unfortunately, it was white smoke pouring out from that terminal blown engine for Valentino Rossi. In terms of the race at the front, it's now down between Lorenzo Marquez and Dovizioso for the podium. Marquez has closed the gap back down to 0.6 of a second.
Yeah, perhaps it's not over, but Lorenzo is so adept at running a race from the front. He knows when to absolutely go for it. He knows when to protect things. And here he is, Valentino Rossi, back into his pit garage. He was right in this race, but a major engine blowout has cost him dear. That last race victory for him, 2008 in Mugello, and I'm afraid that will still remain in the record book.
That's cruel. That is cruel in the extreme. You can just see Valentino Rossi deflated, dejected, demoralised, you name it, out of your home race in those kind of circumstances when you're fighting for the victory. And a few questions to be answered, you have to say, by Yamaha after two uncharacteristic but very public and high-profile mechanical failures.
So Rossi is out. The battle in the World Championship. Jorge Lorenzo leads Marc Marquez by 5 points, and they are the two riders that are fighting it out at the front.
In terms of the spectacle, though, this race is far from over, because there's Marc Marquez. He's closed right up on the back of Jorge Lorenzo. Here goes the initial information from Valentino Rossi. He's going to be so frustrated and disappointed. A crowd of over 100,000 fans have come to see him here in Mugello.
Marquez, it's championship chances as well, isn't it?
Massive blow for the championship.
That's what it's really massive. These two are going to probably pick up 25 and 20 points, one or the other, and it really does put them a long way back. Marquez fancies this, doesn't he?
He does.
He really does fancy this, Marc Marquez. It's going to be a great battle, actually, because Lorenzo is the man to ride at the front. Marquez is going to give you absolutely everything to beat him. But for us and everybody in the world, it's a fantastic battle. For 99,500 people here, the disappointment is etched all over their faces.
Andrea Dovizioso just clinging on to this battle between the two Spaniards. He dropped 1.5 seconds behind Marc Marquez. Marquez last time around was 0.3 of a second quicker than Jorge Lorenzo. A bit further down, Iannone's in 4th place. He's 2.6 seconds behind Dovizioso. Danny Pedrosa's in a pretty lonely 5th, and Vinales 6th.
There's those championship positions, yeah, pretty obvious, 25-20, so he'd increase that lead to 10 points. I think Marc Marquez has got something to say about that.
Second DNF of the year, of course, for Valentino Rossi. Crashed out at the Circuit of the Americas in Texas.
If Marquez won the race from Lorenzo, they'd be equal on points, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they would.
But he'd be leading the World Championship because he'd have one more Grand Prix win. If that's
yeah,
right...
Marc's had 3 wins, yes.
That is a first in 30-odd years of covering Grand Prix racing that I've got it right.
I'll tell you what, I'll lean over and give you a big pat on the back for that one.
Thank you very much.
So
yeah, good race at the front, though.
Yeah, it is.
Mustn't take anything away from that. You know? Everybody's disappointed, but this is going to be a hell of a battle. But this would probably be better in Barcelona in 2 weeks' time, rather in Mugello.
Well, it's a shame, because what we could have had is a great 3-way fight between Lorenzo, Rossi and Marquez, because Marc Marquez is really coming into victory contention. This is where he struggles coming out of the corners. Look at how many bike lengths Lorenzo can take. He just gets that Yamaha hooked up a fraction better. Rear stability's been the problem for Marc Marquez, certainly coming out of that Bacchini corner. He's nowhere near close enough to launch a raid on Jorge Lorenzo, who was brilliant on the brakes going into that first corner. He came with a repeated attack from Valentino Rossi before Rossi's engine gave up the ghost, and Lorenzo held firm.
I think probably any other rider in MotoGP would have succumbed to that pressure down at that corner. Lorenzo he tried on the outside, he tried on the inside, and Lorenzo outbraked him every single time. Disappointment for Maverick Vinales. You hit the nail right on the head, Matt. He's got to start better. He's got to run better in these early laps, because he's now setting a fair old pace. He's running in 6th place, but really, he could be right up there with him, couldn't he?
It must be so frustrating for Maverick Vinales. He's quicker last time around than Jorge Lorenzo and Marc Marquez, but he so badly fluffed the start. The quickest man on the track is another man who'll be ruining his launch off the line, Andrea Iannone, because he was fastest on track last time around. But I tell you what, Iannone's coming to the podium because he was a second quicker last time around than Dovizioso. This would be a brilliant recovery by Iannone.
And again, it is just trying to rub Ducati's nose in it, isn't it? They chose Dovizioso in front of him to partner Jorge Lorenzo for the next 2 years, and here he is closing up on him.
Last time around, 1:49.0 was Dovizioso. Iannone was a 1:48.0, so a full second. Iannone was faster than his teammate. He doesn't need any bigger incentive to try and get that 3rd place, and seeing Dovizioso in front of him and a Ducati home podium in Mugello up for grabs.
A good old Ducati battle then for the final podium position. Tell you what, a really good race at the front as well between Jorge Lorenzo and Marc Marquez. Very impressed with Marquez, because I thought Lorenzo, once we saw the demise of Valentino Rossi, was going to be there. But he's not letting him get away. We ride with ride with Iannone.
Yeah, he took another 0.8 of a second on that last lap, lap 14. out of Andrea Dovizioso. So you wonder Andrea Dovizioso's hard charge at the start of this race, whether he's just overcooked his tyres a little bit too much. There is inspection starting on Valentino Rossi's bike. If you are just tuning in to see what's happening in this Italian Grand Prix, Valentino Rossi was locked in a fight with his teammate Jorge Lorenzo for the victory when he had a spectacular engine blow-up which forced him into an early retirement, and it's left the two Spaniards, Lorenzo and Marquez, the top two in the World Championship, fighting it out for the victory. Dylan.
Yeah, guys, I'm actually just down here with Massimo Marigali. A real shame that happened in the race. What were Valentino's first words when he came out? Did he have any warnings on the dash?
No, not at all. He said that he was just following Jorge.
Oh, sorry, we have just as Lynn Jarvis moving. Sorry, Mayo.
Yeah, he just said that he was riding quite safe and following Jorge to try to make a gap between him and Mark, and he was very comfortable on the bike, and then it's happened what is happened. Now we don't know. It looks like the same problem that Jorge had this morning, but first of all we have to understand what and then the reason.
Thank you very much, Mayo.
This is, I was going to say, a hell of a Ducati battle, but I think there's only one winner in this particular battle. And that's the man that's behind Andrea Dovizioso, it's Andrea Iannone. At the front, Marquez is not letting Lorenzo get away. And Marquez, we know, will scrap it out at the front when it comes to the crunch. Yeah, he's told us all about that this is a different season. He's been a bit more sensible, but he could win this race. That would be one hell of a victory for him and for Honda.
Andrea Iannone will be kicking himself at the end of this 23-lap race because he's the fastest man on track again. He was 0.3 of a second quicker than Jorge Lorenzo last time, and if he just made the start, there's no doubt about it, he would have been right in contention for a Ducati victory here in Mugello, which would have set the hillsides rocking.
Bradley Smith has got past Alessio Spargo. Bradley Smith is now up into 7th place.
Yeah, good ride by Smith on that Tech 3 Yamaha. He's caught Dovizioso. The next job, which is not easy, is to overtake him because Andrea Dovizioso is not going to give up a home podium to his teammate without one heck of a fight, that's for sure.
He's so strong on the brakes as well, isn't he, Andrea Dovizioso? But Iannone's in the mood. I don't think there's any doubt about that. We ride with him. That is Andrea Dovizioso in front of him. I think this is coming down through Scarpa here, Pelagio it is. Over the right to the Correntino corner.
Look at that, Nick. Top speed standings, 354 kilometres an hour, 220.8 miles an hour set by Andrea Iannone. That 354.9, that's the fastest ever top speed in MotoGP history, which is already held by Iannone, 351.2 kilometres an hour. That was in Qatar in the warm. So Andrea Iannone, well, he's going pretty fast because he's hunting down 3rd place, and nobody in history has set a faster top speed than Andrea Iannone as he winds that Ducati up again down the start finish straight. Surely he's going to be close enough to attack Dovizioso.
Here he comes out of the slipstream, 220 miles an hour. The two red missiles side by side. Dovizioso very defensive and very clever. Iannone's found a gap and he's through.
Yeah, Dovizioso just went in a fraction too hot, missed his, well, left his braking maybe like, what, 1 or 2 meters later, and that was all enough just to leave a meter gap for Andrea Iannone to dive back up the inside into 3rd place. Danny Pedrosa's having a bit of a good charge as well. Pedrosa last time round, a 1:48.1, that was his best lap of the race. So Danny Pedrosa's only 1.1 seconds back of the 2 Ducatis.
Lorenzo's really trying to turn the screw at the front now. He's just eked out about another 1/10 of a second from Marquez. Marquez has kept it very legal. He's kept it in his sights since the demise of Valentino Rossi. 6.5 laps to go. Well, Lorenzo, I suppose, technically you can say he's led from start to finish. I think Rossi did get in front once, didn't he? So they break down at San Donato. I think Marquez having to ride really hard, don't you, to stay with Lorenzo? And that may be the difference between the two of them at the finish.
Yeah, the problem that Marc Marquez has got is that the lack of acceleration for the Honda coming out of the corners, that's been an issue all season. He's talked about it all weekend as well. It'll be the drive grip where the Yamaha will have a bit more of an advantage. Marquez will then have to make up all of his time in the braking zone. Danny Pedrosa is coming back into contention, you know,
Just
in this
got a
battle for
glimpse
third.
of him then.
In fact, he is. He's only 0.6 of a second back. He was half a second quicker than on this lap. Shake of the head for Casey Stoner, double MotoGP world champion, who's, of course, now a Ducati test rider, Ducati ambassador.
This is interesting because Dovizioso has not let Iannone get away in any way at all. He's going to come up the inside on the brakes. He's great on the brakes, Dovizioso. Can he make it stick? Whoa, he has brilliant stuff from Dovizioso. While this goes on, Danny Pedrosa is rubbing his hands in glee.
Half a second quicker last time around with Danny Pedrosa. I bet Gigi Dall'Igna, Davide Tardozzi and Paolo Ciabatti are just going, oh no, not Argentina, please.
Yeah, Pedrosa's right in there with them now. This is a terrific battle for the final podium position. And the gap at the front between Marquez and Lorenzo, well, it's 0.4 of a second, not quite 0.3. He's not letting him get away, but this is a terrific fight. Here comes Danny Pedrosa, his 250th Grand Prix appearance. He has re-signed with Honda for 2 more years to partner Marc Marquez. 51 Grand Prix wins in that time. He's won here in the MotoGP class, but that was 6 years ago.
Well, this would really rub it in for the Rossi fans if it was an all-Spanish podium, especially with Jorge Lorenzo taking the victory. He's never finished, well, so in the last 7 years here in Mugello, Lorenzo has never finished outside the top 2. Doesn't look like that will be the case here. Iannone aggressive up the inside of Dovizioso. That's right in front of the packed Ducati grandstand here at the Corantaio corner. Pedrosa's right there, though.
Pedrosa is right there. They've come through Boccini one, Potatelli one, and now they're up at Boccini. This is the long left that brings them back into the start and finish. Dips away. These two Ducatis are rocket ships. That's Lorenzo's advantage at the front. 5 laps to go.
Marc Marquez has just fired in the best lap of the race so far, a 1:47.980. The 2-time MotoGP world champion is doing absolutely everything he can. Dovizioso's in way too hot at the first corner. He's well wide. That could be podium hopes gone for Andrea Dovizioso. Iannone and Pedrosa slipped through. Big mistake there by Dovizioso down into San Donato.
Yeah, and he could come a target for Maverick Vinales before the end of the race with that move. Here we go. We've seen it a million times at that corner, haven't we? But not so many times from Andrea Dovizioso, but he's caught up in the heat of the battle.
Yeah, the closing speed there on Iannone. All he could do was release the brake and run on. Marquez, he's not giving up this without a fight, is he? Lorenzo's awesome under pressure. He won't buckle, that's for sure. Marc Marquez, though, desperately trying to find a way through. Just can't get quite close enough to mount an attack. Back with Bradley Smith, who's doing a great job. Top independent rider, ahead of Aleix Espargaro and Danilo Petrucci. This is a battle for 7th.
Yeah, there is Aleix Espargaro. Made a great start on the Suzuki. Danilo Petrucci, of course, back in action in Le Mans. That horrible damage to the left hand following the crash in Phillip Island. But Smith is doing a very good job indeed. He's going to come under big pressure of that. There is no doubt about it. But look at those lap times. Very comparable. We have 4.5 laps to go. This is the battle for 7th place. Smith, a race winner here, 2009 in the 125cc class, 5th last year. But this would be a good result for him if he can hang on to 7th place.
There's Michele Pirro, the Ducati wildcard. Lorenzo and Marquez have just gone over the line. They've exchanged fastest laps of the race. 1:47.961 was Lorenzo. Marquez responded with a 1:47.871. The gap 2/10 over the line. That's as close as it's been for some time. And Marquez again closes up through Luco and Poggio Secco.
Yeah, run along the top end of the circuit, then into Materassi and Salzburgo, San Lorenzo. And he is closing all the time, Marquez. Getting there, hanging onto the coattails is easy enough. But as Valentino Rossi found out, passing Lorenzo is very difficult as they plunge downhill now through Casanova and Savelli. 3.5 laps ago. Brilliant Italian Grand Prix, but it's 2 Spaniards that are stealing the headlines.
Marquez again closes right up through Arrabbiata 1, up the climb through Arrabbiata 2 now.
And this frighteningly fast right hand, he's gone up the inside, Marc Marquez, and runs it wide at Scarperia. He did get past, but he got in there too hot, and Lorenzo still in front. First move of this battle by Marquez.
He just couldn't quite get it stopped, could he, through Scarperia? Here we go. Coming out of Arrabbiata 2. Marquez went for it up the inside. There was definitely a gap there, but he just couldn't stop it. Runs almost to the edge of the track. Now, what's that done in terms of the time? Marquez then has dropped back 0.4 of a second behind Jorge Lorenzo. So he's had one nibble at the world champion, and he's coming back for more.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. They come through Boccini. It's long straight. 220 miles an hour, the Ducati's recording along here in the race. Andrea Iannone, they crossed the line. 3 laps to go, round 6 of the MotoGP World Championship.
There's Danny Pedrosa exerting intense pressure now on Andrea Iannone. That mistake by Andrea Dovizioso has dropped him 1.1 seconds behind this battle for 3rd place. Maverick Viñales in 6th. Danilo Petrucci's just taken 8th place from Aleix Espargaro.
Iannone's hanging on for dear life, and Pedrosa trying to put pressure on him all the way. Started on the front row of the grid, Iannone, but made such a bad start, he's fought his way back through the field. He's got past his teammate, Andrea Dovizioso, the man that stays in the team when he disappears at the end of the season. But Danny Pedrosa, on his 250th Grand Prix appearance, is definitely going to have a go in the next 2.5 laps. And here he comes, Danny Pedrosa up the inside, and Danny Pedrosa into 3rd place, and he's made it stick.
He set that up brilliantly, Danny Pedrosa, coming out of Cervelli. Made sure he got the inside line, cut up the inside of Andrea Iannone. Classic Mugello move up the inside at Arrabbiata 1. Now, can he stretch away from Andrea Iannone? Denied Ducati a podium here in Mugello.
It's a funny game, isn't it, this MotoGP race? And here we are singing the praises of Yamaha and Ducati all weekend. And we've got 2 Hondas running in 2nd and 3rd place at the moment, and perhaps a chase for a Honda victory.
Marc Marquez is 2/10 behind Lorenzo. Look how close Marquez has got up through into the Boccini corner now. Can he use that Honda horsepower in the slipstream behind Lorenzo? We're about to cross the line to complete lap number 21. Lorenzo just pulls about 3 or 4 bike lengths on Marquez. Marquez comes out of the slipstream. Has he got the inside line? Marquez, who's the bravest on the brakes? Marquez leads.
Can he make it stick? No! And Lorenzo holds his line, and Lorenzo's back in front of Marquez. I've got to do it all over again.
Twice then now, Marc Marquez has made a move on Jorge Lorenzo, and twice he's not been able to pull it up on the brakes. He's ran in a fraction too hot. Lorenzo then back at the front. 1 3/4 laps to go here in Mugello.
Absolutely superb ride by Lorenzo. He's fought off Rossi, and at the moment he's fighting off Marquez. Classic at the front, coming under enormous pressure.
He's not looked like cracking once, has he?
No, he hasn't.
Absolutely rock solid. He's like granite at the front, isn't he, when he's there at Jorge Lorenzo? Now, Marquez has got to do all the hard work again for the 3rd time. Will he be 3rd time lucky when he gets by Jorge Lorenzo? If he gets by Jorge Lorenzo.
Time is beginning to run out for Marc Marquez. There's 1.5 laps to go of this Italian Grand Prix. Up over the rise they come towards Corantaio.
And Andrea Iannone fought his way back into 3rd place by Danny Pedrosa. So we've got a great battle for the win between Lorenzo and Marquez. There's an equally exciting scrap for 3rd place between Iannone and Pedrosa. It's advantage Ducati right now.
He's going to get one more chance, you feel, don't you, Marc Marquez? It's hard. He doesn't want to take too many risks. The championship is absolutely poised as we come up to the 1/3 distance. Up over the rise they come. Will he have another go at San Donato? 1 lap to go here in Mugello. Side by side they come.
5 kilometres to go. Marquez has got the inside line. He gets it all out of shape on the brakes. Lorenzo again, superb in the braking zone for the 1st corner. No way through this time for Marquez.
Lorenzo has repelled all borders so far, but Marquez is going to have one more go. It's not going to be at San Donato anymore. Where is it going to be? Closes up as they run across the top end of the circuit. Here he comes!
Marquez is through this time around, and he's made it stick. Now, what has Jorge Lorenzo got as a counter-attack? Marquez leads for the first time in this race. They drop down through Casanova. They'll bank it left, then through Savelli. Has Marquez timed this to absolute perfection? What have you got, Lorenzo?
Well, it's a different game now for Jorge Lorenzo. He's done all the defending. Now he's got to do the attacking. They bottom out Arrabbiata 1, up to Arrabbiata 2. Half a lap to go here in Mugello. What a ride by Marquez.
Marc Marquez has got all bases covered so far. No way through for Jorge Lorenzo at Scarperia, and then through Pelagio. Marc Marquez will then drop down the hill to Corantayo, heading for his third win of the season. Lorenzo, though, won't let him have it without a fight. Not close enough to attack at turn number 12. Lorenzo's got to try and line him up for a move out of Biondetti. Can he get close enough to attack on the brakes at the final corner? Here we go.
Here he comes up the inside of
what a
Biondetti. What a move by Jorge Lorenzo. Marquez fights back. They're side by side coming up to the final corner, and it's Lorenzo who's going to go through. No, he's not. Marquez has fought him off. Now it is the run to the line.
Surely Marc Marquez has got this victory in the bag. Marquez, he's been magic in Mugello. What a mesmerising race. Lorenzo tries to find him. Lorenzo's got it on the line. Unbelievable. What a finish here in Mugello. Marc Marquez lost it on the line, but to Jorge Lorenzo. Lorenzo wins by a hundredth of a second. What a race. Iannone third, just ahead of Danny Pedrosa. How did Lorenzo snatch that win? Unbelievable.
I thought Marquez had done that one. Iannone beats Pedrosa. Dovizioso third. Vinales in fourth place.
I don't think he can quite believe it himself.
He's won it.
No. What a lap, last lap. What?
So, Vinales 6, 7 Smith, 8 Petrucci, 9 Aleix Espargaro, 10 Pirot, 11 Crutchlow, 12 Hector Barbara, 13 Lafferty, 14 Bradle. Final point scorer should be Paul Espargaro. Let's have a look again.
Oh, Marquez got a wheelie. That's the acceleration issues costing Honda. He got a wheelie as he powered over the crest coming out of the Bacchini corner. Jorge Lorenzo must have thought he'd lost that race. Credit to the Spaniard, because he put in a move, a really aggressive, ambitious move at Biondetti 1. I don't think I've ever seen anybody attack there. He caught Marquez, tried to use the element of surprise, ran a little bit wide. Marquez took the lead back through the Bacchini corner, and Lorenzo got him on the line. What a finale to an unbelievable Italian Grand Prix.
Well, I think we said he'd been the defender throughout the 22 and a half laps, and he had become the attacker. And boy, did he attack. Yeah, Marquez, he must have thought he'd got that one. He must have thought it. And Andrea Iannone set the fastest lap of the race to finish in third place. Whoa. Well, the bitter disappointment of the retirement of Valentino Rossi, but we have seen an absolutely superb MotoGP race. We have had 3 races here at Mugello of the absolute highest quality. So that's 5 MotoGP wins now for Jorge Lorenzo at Mugello. In the 8 times he's raced here, he's finished first or second. I think he thought he was going to finish second in this one until they got to the line.
Yeah, you just saw Marquez, he had that crucial wheelie, the front tyre just lifting about a foot in the air, and he just lost all drive. That's the strong point of the Yamaha coming out of Bacchini. They're coming through Biondetti 1. That's where Lorenzo...
Oh, what a place to overtake. Here they are, though.
Oh, look at that. Was that Marquez's elbow slider being knocked off there? That's contact. That's elbow, rubbing is racing, they say. But at 350 kilometres an hour,
don't let anybody tell you that Jorge Lorenzo can't ride tough when he's got to.
What a move this was by Lorenzo. Up the inside of Marquez at Biondetti 1, picked him up, lost momentum through. Marquez swept back through. Look at that Honda bucking and weaving. Marquez had the line going into the final corner, but just didn't quite have the acceleration of the Yamaha.
Well done, Marc Marquez. You made an absolutely superb race of that. Terrific stuff. Andrea Iannone is going to get a great reception, but like it or not, for the Italian crowd, he is the master of Mugello once again, Jorge Lorenzo.
The way that he stopped at that first corner after the win, he was shocked himself. He thought Marc Marquez had got that, and I'm quite sure.
I wonder what sort of reception he'll get. Probably not very good, which is incredibly disappointing after such a fantastic race. Wow. Where's the next race? Barcelona.
Yeah, more of that in a couple of weeks' time. We'll be pretty happy. What a ride by Lorenzo, though.
Third win of the season for Jorge Lorenzo. Andrea Dovizioso, well, he had a really good go, didn't he? In the end, he finished in 5th place. What impressed me about him is when Iannone caught him, he hung on there, tried to take him back, didn't he?
Yeah, just
don't forget he was
mistake,
13th on the grid as well.
Yeah, and that mistake at the first corner, a few laps to go, just cost him the chance to fight for the podium. That was an unbelievably dramatic MotoGP race, and it was the 100th win for Yamaha in the modern 4-stroke era.
They're going to have very mixed feelings, aren't they?
And Jorge Lorenzo now moves up into outright 4th place in the all-time Grand Prix podium list. Now 140 moves him ahead of Spanish legend Angel Nieto, just 2 behind Dani Pedrosa. Dani Pedrosa was just over a 10th away from celebrating his 250th Grand Prix from the podium. But you talk about contrasting emotions in that factory Yamaha garage tonight, Nick. Blimey.
10 points now separate Jorge Lorenzo and Marc Marquez in the World Championship. We're at the 1/3 distance. You feel they are going to slog it out right to the very end. Brilliant ride by Marquez at a circuit that does not suit Honda, but he rode it to the limit. Andrea Iannone, well, mixed feelings. He's pleased to be on the podium. He could have won that race if he'd have made a decent start.
Yeah, his whole race pretty much dictated by the bad start and first lap. Podium and a new MotoGP top speed record, the consolation for Ducati. Congratulations there from Shuhei Nakamoto. This was the dramatic finale. This is at Biondetti 1. Lorenzo up the inside of Marquez. Over the curve as Marquez cut it back fine. Look at the Honda bucking and weaving under acceleration. And at this stage, when Lorenzo couldn't find his way through, look at that. There's what, 3-4 bike lengths. And at this stage, you thought, well, Marc Marquez is nailed on now to win this Italian Grand Prix. And it's here, look.
Yeah,
there's the wheelie. Lost the momentum. Jorge Lorenzo, thank you very much. Oh, the heartbreak for Marc Marquez, but jubilation for Lorenzo. And that brilliant record in Mugello goes on.
Oh, what a day's racing. Absolutely superb. And this is the demise, I think, of Valentino Rossi, isn't it? Yeah, we didn't think actually it was a rider mistake. Then we thought it may be. You'll see exactly the reason why. Massive engine blowout with the Yamaha. And amazingly, that's exactly what happened to Jorge Lorenzo in this morning's warm-up. And he is bitterly disappointed. And the whole of Italy sobbed with him.
Yeah, and Yamaha must be wondering, you know, what's the fix for that engine problem? Of course, there's no in-season engine development nowadays in MotoGP. Here's Andrea Iannone, though, 3rd place in his home Grand Prix. He's down talking to Dylan.
Well, Andrea, I think that was quite a difficult start for you, but you did manage to fight back up the field. How tough was it with Dovi and Dani at the end?
So I have a big disappointment because in the start the clutch so not slippery a lot, and the bike starting with a big wheel, and for me it's very difficult to control, and everybody passed me arrive in the first corner, so I think it's a disaster today. But okay, I push very hard for all the race, and I ride very, very fast. And I have a very good feeling with the tires. So I think in this track, the tires work very, very well. And this is very good because Michelin improve race by race. And this is very important for us. But so, the disappointment is the result. Because yes, the podium in Italy is very good, but I have a big potential for fight for the victory. And so, I need this, but today, so for sure we try at the next race.
Thank you very much, Andrea. Congratulations.
Yeah, disappointed, proud of what he did because he had a great ride back through the field, but from the front row, he would have been right in there. That there is no doubt. Well, that really is winning in your greatest rival's backyard, isn't it? Jorge Lorenzo, what a victory. What an end to the race. And here comes the track invasion.
And they won't be going anywhere until Valentino Rossi comes back out onto the podium. If he does, of course, he'll be bitterly disappointed and frustrated. Marc Marquez, what a fight he put up in that 23-lap race. He comes over second place to talk to Dylan now.
Well, Mark, you tried numerous times. You finally made it stick past Jorge. Great little battle into that final turn. But what was the problem on the drive out? Surely you must have thought you won it.
No, I already know that was really close because even with the lifting, I was not able to overtake Jorge. We were struggling a lot during all weekend on the last acceleration and on the top speed, and it was like this. I tried my maximum. I did the best race that was possible today. I take a lot of risks for win the race, but in the last straight, Jorge overtook me with the lifting. We must do still working on the acceleration because here we were able to stay there because it's not many accelerations, but still we are losing there. So for the next race, we will try to do another step.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Great ride by Marc Marquez. Disappointed though because the gap has doubled at the top of that World Championship, but it is only 10 points. It's the acceleration, isn't it? He nailed it straight away. It was almost that he knew what was going to happen when they got to the situation they were in.
As we told you there, the new top speed record set by Andrea Iannone in that race, 220.8 miles an hour, ladies and gentlemen.
I remember going to Hockenheim in the mid-80s when 200 miles an hour was the fastest. Here we go. Race winner here at Mugello, Jorge Lorenzo.
Well, Jorge, a win here in Italy. I think, first of all, amazing start, but then you had to cope with Valle behind you and then Marc. I mean, what was going through your head when Marquez went into that final turn first?
Well, yeah, the pace was not very fast, so I couldn't escape like I wanted. Marquez stayed very strong all the race, so I used a lot of energy to go leading all the race. So I thought that Marquez maybe have more energy. So when he passed me, I thought to stay in second place and take the points. But finally, I remember a little bit the year 2005 when I was in 250 and I passed De Angelis in this corner in the last chicane for the second place. And I thought, okay, maybe I can do the same, no? So I try a crazy move. Was okay, but I was going right in the second corner of the chicane. And finally, my bike was quite fast, so I take the lifting of Marquez and I won this unexpected race, no? Unexpected victory.
Thank you very much, Jorge. Congratulations.
Yeah, what would have happened if Valentino Rossi's bike had not blown up? What would have happened if Andrea Iannone had made a good start? Doesn't matter, does it?
And one of the first men to congratulate Jorge Lorenzo there. You just saw Fernando Alonso.
That's good to see. Yeah, there we go. More overtaking in that race than the whole of a Formula One season.
Boom. Well, they're going to be disappointed. They've had a great day out here, but not the outcome that they would have wanted to see. They've still witnessed a
trudging home, aren't they? Yeah.
They still got treated to an incredible MotoGP race.
You know, Matt, I don't think the majority of them give a hoot what the race was like. They just wanted to see their man win. And all they're chanting is Valle, Valle, Valle. But
tell you what, Andrea Iannone there, he'll be reflecting on what might have been tonight, because as he said, the start was a shocker, problems with the clutch slipping, because his pace, once he got into his rhythm, was as quick as Lorenzo Marquez. Andrea Iannone will look back on this as a big chance gone to end Ducati's long victory drought in MotoGP. Well, those two men there on your screens now, Lorenzo Marquez, what an afternoon's entertainment they served up. Lorenzo still seems shocked in Parc Ferme, doesn't he? Unexpected victory.
That's exactly what he
thought
said.
that race had gone.
Well, it couldn't be better for Barcelona, could it? Two Spaniards fighting out a race like that. And the next round of the championship, round 7 in Barcelona in 2 weeks' time. What a weekend we have had here in Mugello. I suppose the only sad thing was we didn't get the fairy tale ending that everybody wanted. Is certainly wearing a yellow shirt, but we've seen 3 unbelievable races, and as good as all of them was the MotoGP race and the battle at the front between Marquez and Lorenzo. And it was Lorenzo who came out on top to increase that lead in the World Championship. It's not a big lead, but to 10 precious points. The podium is going to be interesting, just for the reaction of the crowd, I think you've got to say, haven't you?
I know one thing, Jorge Lorenzo will be enjoying himself up there regardless of the reception he gets.
Yes. There we are, that's his side of the Yamaha garage. They look in a very good form. Maverick Vinales here will be disappointed with 6th place because once again, he ran the pace, didn't he? So here we go. Iannone, Marquez, and here comes Jorge Lorenzo. Mixed reception, I think, could we call that?
He's loving it.
He
Lorenzo.
loves every minute of it. Roll on Barcelona. Spanish fans can get their own back with their own songs, can't they? A tremendous motorcycle race, an unbelievable weekend here in Mugello.
I think that's the Constructors' Trophy, isn't it? The individual awards are still to come.
Yeah, I think he's decided he's going to celebrate.
He's having everything, yeah, just give him the lot.
Yeah, that's right. Independent teams will have that one as well.
Andrea Iannone's doing his best to make amends for Valentino Rossi's disappointment.
Yeah.
He's whipping the crowd up. Andrea Iannone's 29th career podium, his 5th in MotoGP.
In 2nd place, Marc Marquez. Brilliant ride on the Honda. Not the easiest machine at the moment to ride around Mugello. He pushed Jorge Lorenzo to the absolute limit.
83rd podium of Marc Marquez's career, number 44 in the Premier class.
Yeah, again, a mixed reception.
But it was last gasp Lorenzo in Mugello, and he's taking the victory trophy for the 43rd time in his MotoGP career. His 140th podium. He's now the 4th most successful podium rider in history.
His 5th win here in the MotoGP class in Mugello. He leads the World Championship by 10 points.